So you notice that I stayed in one position on the guitar. We're in the key of A. I'm right here at the 5th fret. All of us know this position. You know these notes from this position. Well, there's a lot of music to be made out of that. You don't have to know a special scale, a special mode, or anything. That one position, that's the pretty cool thing about the guitar, is you can play a lot of music off of one position in a number of different keys, but we'll get to that later. But off of this one position, you can play the blues. And what makes one guy sound maybe a little hipper or a little different than the next guy? Well, it has to do with the way he phrases or expresses the notes out of that position. And the one that comes to mind with me right now is if you were to play, notice the C note has nothing on it. It's just a note. But as soon as you put either a little vibrato or a little bend, hinting that the note is moving up a little bit, it becomes different. And notice that after I played that note, I did not repick the A. I did a pull-off. Let me do that again. That's pretty cool. All right, all of a sudden that little thing has a thing to it, doesn't it? A little vibrato on the A. So you can take those 4 notes and do. It's starting to sound like the blues now, I think. And that would be just one way to express those 4 notes. Now with our scale, our position thing here, you have all those options to do the same thing on any of those notes. Here's a different way to do that. Put a little bend with the index finger. A little vibrato on the A. So we're still... So, express thou self. So we're talking about playing in positions, and obviously there are many scales and many modes that we all should learn and do have to learn to become a very proficient guitar player. But the beautiful thing, as I've said about the guitar, is the position playing gets us close to the music sooner. That's for the key of A, right? That's a position right there. The thing about the guitar is you can go on up to C. Now you're in the key of C. But we'll go back to A, and we'll play in positions. But listen to the difference of this little line if I move up one position. The tone is completely different, and you need to become familiar with these different positions for playing something, so your choices are wider, bigger. You have more options about how you want to say your musical phrase. So one suggestion might be just to play this position lick right there at the 5th position, but then just go up to the next position. And then you have to jump down for the A. So now anything you can play in the 5th position, you ought to be able to play in that next position. It'll sound different, and it may not sometimes feel as good, but you ought to be able to play it. See, it made me do a whole different kind of slinky thing there that I wouldn't choose, but at least I know how to do it. Let's talk about improvisation. There are some tools that I think can help you become a better improviser. I know one thing that's useful is anything you already know how to play. Let's take the key of A. That's an easy position for all of us. And we take a lick. Just take 3 notes. Right? Well, now let's make sure we know how to play that in a number of places on the neck, because we hear it in our head. We know what it sounds like. You get the idea. Anything you can play in your comfortable zone, make sure you take the time to at least explore it in a few more positions, and that'll free you on the fingerboard to improvise more fluidly because you're not stuck in one or two positions. And the other thing I've found as an improviser is if I think like a vocalist or like a singer, meaning they have a specific melody that they're going to interpret. Well, we as guitar players and improvisers, we get to make up the song while we're playing. But if you keep in mind that you're a singer telling that story, it'll at least remind you not to play all the stuff that really doesn't mean anything, because the singer wouldn't even think about singing something like that. They would concentrate on the lyric and the melody that they're trying to, get across to the audience. And then lastly, how to structure your solo. Basically, that thinking like a singer, which means there's a melody being developed. Well, we get to improvise our melody, like I said, but we're going to structure our solo, meaning start simply, like a song would. See all the space that's going right there? If there were a lyric to that, you and I as the listener would have time to digest the opening line of that song. So you structure your solo built upon these little pieces of music that the person wants to digest when they're listening to it. Okay, it sounds like a song I'm playing already. Do that with your improvisation. Make up things and imitate them and structure your solo trying to tell your story.